Use the Resources program to set up equipment necessary to perform a service or participate in a booking. Such equipment or resources are transportable and in limited supply. To create a new resource, select the New button, or select an existing resource to review or make edits to it. In the General tab, enter a description for the resource and set the quantity available. If you want to track the available quantity, enable the Track Availability flag. This will not allow for the resource to be booked if the quantity available has already been reserved. Optionally enter a note about the resource and make sure the active flag is enabled if this resource can be reserved. The module tabs will be available based on the modules your club has. Configure the settings for each module that will utilize this resource. If this resource can be booked for spa management, enable this resource can be reserved for spa appointments. Then select the services for which this resource can be reserved. If this resource can be booked for court booking, enable this resource can be reserved for court bookings. Then flag which court types this resource can be reserved with, and specify a court POS item for each court type. You can also select which courts within a given court type to which this resource can be assigned, if certain resources are only available on certain courts. If this resource can be booked for class scheduling, enable this resource can be reserved for classes. Then flag which class scheduling activity type for which this resource can be reserved. If this resource can be booked for event management, enable this resource can be reserved for events. In the Facilities subtab, flag which facilities this resource can be reserved in. In the Tasks subtab, add the task which must be completed if this resource is assigned to an event. In the Pricing subtab, you can set pricing for this resource. Optionally select an event budget category and select a billing item. For more information on how to create a resource billing item, watch the video titled Event Management: Add a New Resource. The default member price and default retail price will populate based on the selected billing item but can be overridden here. If this resource can be booked for dining reservations, enable this resource can be reserved for dining reservations. Then flag which facilities within which this resource can be reserved. If this resource can be booked for appointment booking, enable this resource can be reserved for appointment booking. Then flag which activity types for which this resource can be reserved. Once you've completed the resource setup, select Save. Complete the setup for each required resource. Before we look at how to add a resource to a booking or reservation, let's take a quick look at the Resource Groups program for event management. Here you can create resource groups to organize the resources that are available for events. Select the New button to create a new group, or select an existing group to review or make edits to it. Enter a description for the group, and make sure Active is flagged. In the Resources tab, flag which resources will be included in this group. When creating an event, you will first select the resource group, then select resources that are part of that resource group. Select Save, and repeat this process to create additional resource groups as required. Once resources have been created and have been marked as eligible for a particular module, they can be added to a booking or a reservation. Let's take a look at each applicable module. For Health and Spa, if you flagged a resource to be reserved with the service, when creating a booking, in the Details tab, a resource can be added in the Additional Info section. For court booking, if you flagged a resource to be reserved with the court type, when creating a booking, and in the Detailed tab, a resource can be added in the Equipment section. For class scheduling, if you flagged a resource to be reserved with a class, when creating a class instance, in the Resources tab, you can add resources that can be reserved with a class, and you can set the maximum quantity available as well as the quantity to reserve. For event management, if you flagged a resource to be reserved with events, when creating an event, in the Resources tab, you can add a resource group. From here, you can add resources that are assigned to the resource group, set the available quantity and price of the resource, and optionally apply a discount and discount method by amount or percentage. For dining reservations, If you flagged a resource to be reserved with a dining reservation, when creating a reservation, in the General tab, in the Resources section, you can flag to assign a resource to this reservation. For appointment booking, if you flagged a resource to be reserved with an appointment, when creating an appointment, you can select the resource in the Booking Details section in the Details tab. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more how-to videos, and don't forget to subscribe.